Hi, everybody. It's Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 171. I didn't even play my music today. Darn it. Let me see here. I'll turn it down. There we go. So, how's everybody doing? Welcome to our latest edition of Live. And today we're going to be talking about my voice sounds flat. And what do we do about it? I actually had this statement by one of my YouTube subscribers, and actually said more like my voice sounds awful. So anyway, we're going to talk a little about that, because who hasn't been there, right? All right, so how's everyone doing? Today's agenda is going to be along this line. We're going to talk about my voice sounds flat and what to do about it. And I would like to ask you right now, has that ever happened to you? Has your voice ever sounded flat? Have you ever been aware that you were off pitch? And just let me know in the comment section. Yes, I've been off pitch. Or yes, I've been flat. Or yes, I've been sharp. I'll tell you about my experience. And I've had several, and I mean in lessons and in other places where someone has said, "Hey, I think you're off. You're off pitch, or you're a little bit under, or you're a little bit over." And it usually happens for some reasons. We're going to talk about those reasons today. We're going to talk about exactly what do I mean by sounds flat. We'll talk about the definition, and we're talking about why it happens. And there's several good reasons why this happens to the best of us. And then some exercises you can do to help get your pitch corrected. So I remember going to an equity house here in my area. Professionals from New York were here performing, and frankly, there were several voices that evening that were noticeably under pitch. And it's one of the things I haven't mentioned here. You don't really know exactly why, but one of the main reasons I just thought of, and I'm going to write that down so we can talk about that as well. So let me know if you've had that experience. I remember when I was 19 years old, I was asked to sing a solo at church for Christmas, and I bombed it. I was so embarrassed, and it was just so obvious that that I had not. Whoops! I had just disappeared. Okay, it was so obvious that I had done poorly, and I knew I was pitchy. I knew I was my it just in every way it was embarrassing. Has anybody been there? I had the experience. It so discouraged me, and many of you know this already. That so discouraged me. I did not sing another solo, ladies and gentlemen, until I was 43 years old or 44 years old, roughly around that area. And when I found out about this technique. I did not sing another solo for 25 years. Now, I understand what this is like. I understand what struggles you have, because I've been there and I've experienced it myself. So we're going to talk about that today. I want to say hi to those of you guys who are here. Mozingo, doing great. Nice to have you here. Anna Mancini, nice to have you here, Anna. And Tiana Hotomska, nice to have you here. Sydney, Rhythm Master, welcome. Thanks, she said, Sydney says, love your methods. Thank you. Ivan, hi. I sound flat. Join the club, Ivan. Nice to know that there's some of us in the same boat. And listen deeply. Oh, I like that handle. Hi from Italy. Nice, great to have you here today, listening deeply. Okay. So I say it happens to the best of us because I've heard professional New York actors and actresses sing and not be on and be off pitch, either flat or sharp. And so as part of the definition of what we mean by it sounds flat, I want to say that it's fundamentally yeah. So Linda says hi. Flat means you tend to be too low. Yeah, and so it might just be like right in between the cracks, so to speak. So if I should be singing ah, maybe I'm ah. I'm not quite here. I'm not that far down. Ah, that's too obvious. It's usually right in between the tone, or it could be slightly sharp. Let's put that in there for definition. That being flat. Let's just say your voice sounds pitchy. In other words, it's just not exactly on the pitch. So if it could be it's not all the way to there, but it's in between the pitches, right? And so a pitchy sound is one that's not necessarily just the wrong pitch. And I'm not talking about that today, ladies and gentlemen, fellow singers of the world. I'm not talking about that you have a hard time finding the pitch. This isn't about that. That's a whole nother topic. And frankly, I don't have a lot of experience because I primarily train singers who can find the pitch, right? But I've had some students who struggled to find the pitch. In other words, if I said sing this, they'd sing ah 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 ah. Maybe by sliding around they could find it, and that's always a good sign. But I have had students who could not locate it. I'd have to go like this or this way, to try and get them to, and it was really hard for them. I'm not talking about that today. That's a different topic. I'm talking about us singers who are performing. We're out doing we're on stage performing, and we're in between the pitch. It's not even that bad. It's kind of like, but it's not all the way. And so what is it that causes us to do that? Anybody else have the experience? Mixer forever. What is flat? Okay, well, hopefully that helps explain that. Okay, that's me too. Yeah, so we've been there. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this pitchy. What are some causes of this pitchiness? Let me start with the one that I just wrote down, because it's something that it's hard to control. This singing with a sick voice. In other words, we're sick, or we have a cold. Our vocal cords are swollen. We've got a sore throat. We have nasal congestion. Our ears are plugged up. That's a very common cause of not being on the pitch, and that is that we're under the weather. We've not had enough sleep. We're dehydrated. We're exhausted. We don't have the energy in our voices, and so we're under the pitch. I know that that's happened to me, and I bet it's happened to you too. If you've sung sick, which we're not supposed to do, but we all do it, right? If you've sung sick before, or under the weather, or exhausted, or just were not in your prime condition, let me know in the comments below. That happened to me also. I had the worst sore throat of my life, and I couldn't vocalize a G above middle C. And all would come out was Couldn't do that on stage. And so we were double cast. I called my counterpart. He took my show. I never lost a show. It's the only show I've given up in 23 years of doing theater now. I've never missed a show, and it just killed me to do that. This is about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And so the next night that I was to perform was 2 nights later. This was a Monday night. I gave up my show. Tuesday night, my counterpart did the show. Wednesday night, I could vocalize the G. And so even though my throat was still sore, quite sore, since I could hit the note, I took 4 Advil and did the show. Well, I'm quite sure that there were moments in the evening where my pitch wasn't exactly right. And I'm quite sure, well, and then I know, and some of you have heard this, I actually did some damage to my voice that night. And I got some little nodules on the false chord. That's the chords adjacent to the actual vocal folds themselves. And it was some months before those cleared up. I would say 4 to 6 months before I was back to normal again. So singing sick will cause some issues for you. All right, so what are some other causes of being flat or maybe even being sharp? What are some other causes of being pitchy? Well, the primary one I think that causes most people to say, well, I have a pitch problem, is that as they sing from their chest voice up towards the top of chest voice, they start going flat. And that's because they're approaching this bridge, the passaggio, this passageway from chest to head voice. And so when that happens, if we don't know how to bridge, and I didn't for 44 years, I didn't know it, you didn't even know it existed. I thought that was the top of my voice. So when I came close to the E, above middle C, everything would start to go, I just had to push harder and harder and harder. And too many times I know I was slightly under it. I just wasn't quite there because it took so much energy for me to get up to that note. Has that ever happened to you? So I'd sing, if I was supposed to sing, there was a song from the Fantastics, I think it's called Metaphor. It was just really fun to sing. I sang a duet with one of my fellow madrigals, and the last note is, I think it's on the D, maybe E flat, but I think it's a D or E. Somebody can tell me, I'm sure would know this, but I think the last one is love. So love, and so I'd sing love. I'd always be, I hate to even say it, I didn't have vibrato. I wasn't born with a natural vibrato, and I didn't know how to bridge. And so that E, anything close to the E was just death to me. You know, F was out of the question, and E was hard. And maybe it was actually on the E. I can't remember the exact note. But E, E flat, or D, and I was under the pitch. And I tried as hard as I could. I pushed with all my might to try and get that note. And I'm afraid too many times I was slightly under, and I knew it. I loved the song so much, and I sang with such a great partner, great soprano, Becky. And so I loved the song, and I loved singing it with her, and we had a great time, but I was never really happy with my last note. So not knowing how to bridge is a common cause. This happens for the ladies around the A above C. The A, the B flat, the B, the C. If you don't know how to bridge and you're trying to sing in those areas there, it's all too common to be pulling the lower voice higher. That's called pulled chest. and the pitch suffers. So there's a whole nother area that we could identify as one reason why this happens, and that is that we tend to pull the chest voice higher, pull it from the bottom to the notes that should be starting to go into our mixed voice or going into head voice, and we're pulling the bottom up and we're just pushing it, pushing it, and pushing it, and inevitably it's going to be under pitch. It's going to be flat. And if you push really hard, you'll go sharp. And so that's another casualty of this pulled chest, high larynx tendency. And most of us on earth have this tendency. And it's when the notes go higher. If we don't know how to bridge, we just pull the bottom up and just keep pushing it higher and higher, and we go flat. Or we push it sharp. Anybody relate to that? This is something very, very common. So you can be as healthy as could be, but if you get to that, close to that bridge area of your voice, for the men, it's around it's the E above middle C. For the ladies, you get into your bridge at the A, 4, the A above middle C. A, B flat, B, C, C sharp. And anything above that, if you don't know how to bridge, it gets harder and harder. And so, but if you're able to get into your bridge and to start mixing, then you can transition into your head voice easily, and you don't have the pitch problems. But if we pull our chest voice, and if the larynx hikes up, if it goes high, so pulling the chest, elevating the larynx, raising the larynx, the high larynx, that inevitably causes pitch problems. And most of the time it's flat. Sometimes we just push it sharp. If you don't have vibrato, I think that's another cause of not being able to stay right on the pitch, because there's something about the vibrato that rounds that pitch. So if I said straight tone, I'll try and do it as good of a straight tone as I can. The better I try and do it, the more my vibrato wants to come in. But if I said, it tends to fill out and round out the pitch. So sometimes singing with a straight, flat, edgy, no vibrato tone, just a straight, flat tone, it's easy to fall into the crack of the pitches. And so you may not go a complete half step down or half step up, but you're right, you're not right on the note. But the vibrato rounds that tone and rounds the pitch, and so you're able to, it somehow recruits the pitches around it to give it the correct pitch. And it's a very, very important reason why vibrato is so valuable. It actually helps our pitch when we're singing. I didn't write that down, and that's one I just came up with. So the vibrato is if you don't have vibrato, it's easier to have that pitchy problem of falling down or even pushing up into the crack of the tone. Anybody relate to that? Because we all can develop vibrato. I wasn't born with it. I couldn't do it. I thought I was unable to learn how to do it. My original teacher told me, if you weren't born with vibrato, you don't have it. She was wrong, but I thought she was right for 44 years. Hey, Brandon, nice to have you here today. And Daniel, larynx control, yeah. Brandon says, I just wanted to say thank you so much for helping me with my mixed voice. I'm really starting to find it now every day, and each day it's getting stronger, lowering that larynx. Awesome, Brandon. Thank you. You're working hard at it, and it's paying off. So congratulations. Linda, would it be from lack of support? Okay, so this is a really great point, and that's something else. There's a lot of reasons why we can go flat. And that's another one. So the, I don't know that it's, you know, in reality, Linda, I'm not really sure that that's the primary number one reason. A lot of teachers feel like breath is everything. I feel like breath is maybe three or four down the line after the larynx, after the vocal cords, um, maybe number three. But I don't think it's the end all, do all, everything about singing. But there is no doubt in my mind that having adequate breath enables us to stay on the pitch. Okay, so let's just talk about that for a second. And it's particularly helpful as you have to make jumps. But anytime you start running out of air, and this is a bad habit that I have a lot of my, especially my younger. Well, it doesn't even matter on age. I've just seen it too often where people will be singing and they'll start to squeeze their shoulders like this to squeeze out the air. And so let's just talk about the diaphragm for a minute. So I'm not going to get scientific. Pretend like you got a balloon down here and breathe through your nose. Pull this in a little bit. Breathe through your nose and fill that balloon up. Just let that, pretend like there's a direct line of going right to your balloon down here. Fill that up, and then as you're using your air, you pull it back in. So if I were to say, no, 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 I'm pulling that in, and I'm pulling it in a little firmer on those jumps. No, if I said, no, 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 no. Tummy out, air, fill up that balloon. No, 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 no. And I pull the tummy in, and it helps give me a feeling of solidity, of solidness on that note, on that pitch. Whereas if it's all in the throat, and I really appreciate you bringing this up, Linda, this is really a great point. If it's all in the throat, no, no, a lot of times it's going to be all here with tension. No, no, no. And we've seen this before. I see it a lot with my younger kids. Stick their chin out, raise their neck up, trying to hit the note. And I try to say, no tension here. If you're going to have tension, let this fill your balloon up, pull that in. Let that be the impetus that you need for that. The other thing is posture. So you want to have your shoulders back and down, and your feet about your shoulder width apart, and you want to stand up straight. So when you do, and you relax your tummy, you take your breath that way. You just relax, and air goes in. And then you have that air supply to give your vocal cords something to lean against in creating that pitch, and creating the pitch and creating the tone and so forth. So really, really great point, Linda. Thank you so much, because it does have a definite impact on our singing. So I would say, I would have to say, Linda, that probably should be the third thing we mention, is that, and I want to talk a little about the vocal, I want to talk a little about the larynx. So the vocal cords and the larynx, we have to have everything in balance. And so let's talk about the high larynx. We mentioned this a minute ago, but if I'm straining to reach, and I'm pulling up the chest voice, then this is going to be going up too. If we go into swallowing mode, it just closes everything off, and so there's no air. You can't make any sound. And imagine having the larynx going up while you're singing, and trying to maintain a good production of tone. I've done that when I used to pull my chest voice higher, and used to jam the voice higher and higher towards the ceiling, what I thought was the ceiling, that combines, that high larynx and that pulled weight of the chest voice combines to really cause problems with pitch. And so it's so important, and I'm going to talk about some exercises in a minute to get the larynx down and to stop that habit. Because the habit of pulled chest, high larynx is also the habit of being pitchy and flat or sharp. Okay, so let me just take a moment here and listen deeply. That's the name of one of our attendees today from Italy, I think. Did you say? Anyway, listen deeply. It says, looks to me that all men, me included, tend to pull the chest voice up. I'm doing your dopey exercises and I'm having so much results already, though. Awesome. Yeah, now, I used to think that too, listening deeply, but as a teacher, I found that the women can pull chest voice just as much as the men. But, and on the other hand, I've seen plenty of men's voices be very breathy and very light, probably because that's the only way they could sing high without having the cracks and so forth. But that's a whole other problem in and of itself. The breathiness can be just as big a problem, or more so, because the nervous system wants to start helping to make it stronger and bigger and more powerful. And so guess what happens? The larynx starts to go up. And then we're in the same problem. So here we have the pitch problems, we have the breathing problems, and that is another major disadvantage for producing a great singing, a great tone and great pitch. So it's not just pulled chest; it's the breathy, light, airy voice can get in just as much trouble, kind of coming at it from the opposite way. But the larynx can still come up when they're struggling to try and make more sound, which is not available to them because their vocal cords are so lax in terms of coming together. I think that was a little cryptic the way I described that, but all right. So Sydney, Rhythm Master, says sometimes trying to do variations of the original on the fly leads to flat tones. Yeah. So the music can challenge us. And so I guess that could be another reason. It shouldn't be, though, right? If we've done our homework and we're working on our trade and we're getting better and better at it, we should be able to get the music and sing it. However, we've all been there too, where we have strange music and we're working through it, and we're not on the right pitches, or we're not prepared for the notes that are in the bridge, or we're not prepared for the words that are in the bridge that are opening and splatting a little bit, which is another reason why. That's related to the pulled chest, high larynx. Also lack of proper breathing, yep. And when is the new material being released? Can't wait. Which new material were you referring to, Sydney? I'm going to be opening up Singer's Impact, which is my membership site, in the next few weeks. Nico says, hi there. Nice to have you here, Nico. Okay, so if our notes are near the bridge, we have difficulty because we're pulling chest and the larynx is coming up if we don't know how to bridge. It's easy to get a lot of tension with that, and a lot of squeezing of the neck and so forth. Anytime that happens, your pitch is going to suffer. Trust me. Anytime that happens, your pitch will suffer. Not having vibrato, being sick, all those things. No wonder it's so challenging to sing. All right. And I made this note to myself, being too light in the voice, too breathy, too airy, or being too heavy, too squeezed, and too pinched, both of them are going to cause pitch problems. because the larynx is going to be coming up in both situations. And as we do, we're going to lose the ability to sing freely, without tension, without the squeezing of the vocal folds themselves. And that's what enables us to be able to sing right on the pitch. So those kinds of things are going to also contribute to that. Okay. No, hey, nice to have you here today. I was wondering if you were familiar with the flageolet register. If so, is that what the nasty name exercise activates? No, I'm not familiar with the flageolet register. In fact, I don't think I've ever read that word before. So I must be in the dark on that one. And Sydney says, this is Alim. Great. Yes, the membership. Okay. Yeah, probably in the next few weeks, Alim. Thank you for asking. I'll be trying to get out more information on that. Probably we'll do a couple live broadcasts to share information. Linda Levy says, interesting that support, high larynx, and breathiness can be connected. Yeah. Maybe each person has a different root cause that is causing the others. What do you think? Yeah, Linda, so I think everything can, I really feel like the larynx position, if it's at speech level, in other words, we're singing where we speak, and if the vocal cords are essentially in that same condition, we set ourselves up for success. So we can still have a really great singer who's maybe not such a great breather. But if those things aren't balanced, if the larynx isn't at a speech level, and if the vocal cords aren't coming together adequately like we do when we speak in a comfortable manner, then the best breathing in the world is not going to help. So in a way, I feel like the point you're making, and this is what I believe, is that if I get the larynx and the chord structure balanced, if everything is at the comfortable level, like when we talk, that everything is going to fall in place. It's going to be much easier to sing well. And then the added benefit of having adequate breath control and support and so forth is going to round that off. It's going to polish that off. And I do think vibrato is a very important key in terms of this topic today, because it's easier for our pitches if there's vibrato in our voices. So really, really great point, Linda, and I do actually believe that. I think that if we get certain things right, then the pitch takes care of itself. And with that, let me just pause for a second, because the bridging is so very vital. If you know how to get through your bridge, so ladies, I'm able now to get through your bridge, but there are many who, they still open and go wide as they approach the bridge, or they break into falsetto. And so the bridging, the ability to transition from chest through that middle area into your head voice, in terms of skill, Linda, I think that is what will have the biggest impact on our pitches and our tones. Now, those are directly connected to what the larynx is doing and what the vocal cords are doing. And so let's move from that principle of bridging and having the larynx stay resting and the vocal cords adequately closing, and talk about some exercises that will help. So if I haven't learned how to bridge yet and can't mix, and this is what Brandon was referring to, he's really getting a hold of this ability to feel his mixed voice, the blend of chest and head. If we can't do that, then staying on pitch near the top of chest and as you get into the middle area of your voice and up into head voice, staying on pitch is, it's It's impossible, I think. I think it's impossible because you just have to pull your chest voice or you have to break into falsetto. And I suppose you can be on pitch in falsetto, but you lose so much. So let's talk about some exercises here that will help get the larynx down. Because when we go up and start pulling our chest voice, the larynx is coming up. So one of the great exercises, and you probably get tired of me saying this, is that bubble lip or the tongue trill. Combine that with your breathing. Fill that balloon up again. So that, it does so much there. The larynx stays down with the bubble lip. The vocal cords adjust appropriately because you can hear that I'm not saying, it's not breaking. So the vocal cords are maintaining their they're maintaining this condition where the tone's connected. So the chords are adjusting appropriately. So the bubble lips does so much. It keeps the larynx down. It helps the vocal cords adjust. And so what happens to the pitch when we go back to singing? And very, very rarely are we off pitch with the bubbles. Why is the pitch so good on bubbles? Well, it's because the larynx is down. The vocal cords are adequately closing. And the condition of the chords, they're adjusting appropriately for the jump in octave or whatever the intervals are. So bubble lips is a great exercise. Let me give you a couple more. Let me just answer a couple questions here, and I'll give you a few more of these exercises that are going to help keep the larynx down, make that bridging easier, and solve a lot of pitch problems. Flageolet is a squeaky head voice. It connects to the whistle register. Huh. That's interesting. I practice my pitches with my guitar. It's so much fun. Yeah. Noel says flageolet is very closed vocal cords and improves flexibility of the stretchers. I don't know what stretchers are. Allowing more vocal weight to be carried up, like a pulley. Huh. Well, anyway, so let's talk a bit about another exercise that will help keep the larynx down. One of the things that identifies the high larynx really, really quickly is a goo-goo-goo. Goo-goo-goo, goo-goo-goo. Now, here's another, let me say this. Here's another issue with pitch. If you're sitting all the time, all day long, oh, it's so easy to get lazy in this chair. I'm sitting in my chair where I teach, and I find I've got to, I have to give myself some better posture. I do have to do good breathing here because it's so easy to start falling under pitch while I'm sitting down all day long. Goo, 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 goo. Now, if the larynx is high and you're squeezing, here's what it sounds like. Goo, 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 goo. And you can tell that's not on pitch, but that's a very realistic representation of what happens if we can't get through that bridge area. Listen how it goes a little bit hooty. Goo, 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 goo. Ladies, that's your bridge. Goo, 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 goo. That's not falsetto, that's my head voice. I'm not breaking into falsetto there. For the guys, it would be here. Goo, 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 goo. Now what's going on? I'm getting an error sign. YouTube's not receiving enough video. What? That's amazing. What's going on here? I hope this is not being interrupted. It says YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain. Are you losing me, you guys? I got a warning here. So I hope I'm not losing you. Since I started the pull chest, listening deeply says the high larynx exercise, my neck muscles hurt a bit. Is that normal, or am I doing something wrong? So listening deeply when we're doing the, you don't want to do these exercises too loud or too hard. I'm seeing it, Chuck. So okay, so you're seeing the error messages, or are you still seeing me listening? Now I can see you. Thank you. I don't know why I'm getting an error from YouTube. It's the same thing I've done every week. Now I can see you. We're here. Okay, thank you. So if I do this too loud, goo 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 goo. If I impose the larynx down too much, goo goo goo, then I can kind of strain it a little bit. I can get a little bit tired. That was a mistake I made when I first started. I'd practice for hour. I'd have to drive an hour away, so I'd practice all the way down. I'd practice all the way back, and I'd do it hard and loud. Wrong. Do it about half as loud as you're doing it now. Goo 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 goo. Get the coordination right, and do that at about medium loudness, maybe even soft loudness, and that's going to make it easier on your voice. We don't build our voice by taking it and carrying it to extreme. We build it over a period of time in a balanced condition. So back off on how loud it is, and you don't have to be over exaggerating on everything. Just a little bit. Goo goo. So I want to say a little bit of a dopey sound. Goo, goo, or duh, goo. Goo 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 goo. Now you notice on my way up, I let go of the tension, because this is what I want to do. Goo goo goo. That's what I want to do. I want to grab that. Goo goo goo. You want to do the opposite of that. Subtract the muscles as you go up. Goo 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 goo. Let it go a little hooty. Goo 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 goo. Same thing with the gee. And ladies, for you it would be up here. Gee 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 gee. These are great ways to get rid of that tension, and it's going to improve your pitch. Okay? Gee, 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 goo, goo, goo are really powerful exercises. And you can do them on the long scale. Gee, 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 gee. Gee, 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 gee. Gee, 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 gee. Gee, 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 gee. These are exercises that are great to get the larynx settled down so that it's not pulling up as you go up higher. And that way your pitch is going to improve, because you're also learning that you're feeling that bridging process. Now it's not a finished tone, but it leads to things like ma 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 ma, instead of ma 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 ma. So we've got to introduce this new condition to our nervous system to get used to the feeling, and then we can start doing other things with it, step by step. Okay, so the bubble lip, the gee gee gee, the goo goo goo. If goo 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 is still not working, cuckoo. Coo 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 coo. Cuckoo. And because it doesn't take much muscle to do that. Coo 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 coo. Coo 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 Okay, I suppose you could go flat if your voice is out of shape. And you could go flat if you have a little bit of, so there's some reddening and some inflammation of the vocal cords. Again, that's kind of along the line of being sick a little bit. Those are elements of, if you're in a really dry, arid area where there's not much humidity, the humidity is such a blessing to the vocal cords. When I go back to my home where I grew up in the middle of the United States in a place called Missouri, there's humidity there. And where you live, maybe you've got humidity. Oh, now it's pausing. Oh my gosh. I don't get it. Okay, my stream is suffering, it says. Oh, please don't fail me, stream. Okay. Okay, now we're back. I don't know what's happening. The broadcast gods are against us today. So I'm hoping that everything will settle down there. Sorry, you guys. Okay. All right, so picking up where I left off, are you still with me? I had a little bit of a fluctuation, but it looks like we're back, so I hope you're still there. I left off with it coo coo. I don't know if you heard it or not. Coo is a great exercise to isolate the vocal cords from the muscles. Coo 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 coo. Very, very powerful exercise. Okay, now, do you know your vocal type? We've been talking about vocal types as pull, chest, high, larynx. If you don't know what your vocal type is, please go to the, okay, yep, I kept freezing. Sorry, Anna, but I'm back. I hope it stopped freezing up. It says the stream is okay now. So if you don't know your vocal type, if you haven't gotten your vocal type, there's a PDF you can download. Just go to the description below this video once we're all done here, and it'll be a free PDF. Get my vocal type. You can download the free PDF. It takes you to links to a vocal test. Simple, quick, doesn't take long. You get your vocal type back from that. Then you want to go to the other links on the PDF. Will take you right to what your vocal type is. You can watch videos about your vocal type. And there are exercises for your vocal type that will help you do this bridging that we were talking about today. Or it'll help strengthen the vocal cord closure if you tend to be a light chest, no chest vocal type. Or a flip falsetto if you tend to let go as you go up higher. It'll help you get your vocal cords to stay together. If you're mixed already, which some of you are, then there are exercises there for the mixed voice to challenge it and develop it and hopefully refine and improve your mix. So that's in the description below this YouTube video, and it's the Get Your Vocal Type PDF, and it'll take you to all those places. All right, so we've talked about the definition of going flat, or my voice sounds flat. It's pitchy, meaning it could be sharp or it could be flat. We've talked about these reasons for it, including being sick, not having vibrato in your voice, being near the bridge, and basically what we're saying about this not being able to bridge into your middle, into your mixed voice, not being able to blend chest and head together to get that mix and then continue on into your head voice, not being able to do that, you go flat or you push it sharp. Being too heavy, too much pulled up chest, too high of a larynx, or being too light, not having enough chest voice, not having enough vocal cord closure. These things can cause us to be pitchy also, because the larynx just goes up, you guys, in that situation as well, because it's trying to help us get more power in our voice, right? So our nervous system kind of grabs. All right, so and then I gave you some exercise, bubble lips, gi, goo, and coo, as just, 4 ways to get the larynx to disengage the muscles, that, not squeeze, not pinch it, but to allow ourselves to get the larynx down so we can bridge. Oops, sorry. Okay. And then the PDF to download to help you the bridging process. Let me take some more questions from you. That really concludes my presentation today. We've got a few more minutes to answer some questions. I've stayed up pretty much on them. And thank you for your comments. They've been so very helpful today. Good. Thanks, you guys. I don't know why I had a little bit of a freezing problem here. In other words, the stream was being interrupted by something. Anyway, so you were speaking about humidity. Okay. Yep, we heard up to humidity. Okay. So I'm just saying that if you live in a place where you've got moisture in the air, it's so much better. I live in a desert. And when I go to California, when I go back to my home in the Midwest, in the middle part of the United States, it's much more humid there than out here. And it's such a difference on my voice. Oh my gosh. So enjoy the humidity. It's a little sticky and uncomfortable sometimes, but it sure feels good on the voice. And it helps. It helps your pitches. If you have some reflux or I'm sure none of you smoke, but anything like that, it's gonna dry out your vocal cords. It's going to affect your pitch. So listening deeply said, "Oh, Chuck, last question. What do you think about vocal cool down? Can't find anything on your channel about it. Maybe you don't find it useful." I do have. I think I may be called it a warm down, or I do have something there that's available. I may be called it a warm down. And I would go to my website and search. Let me see. I'll just check it here really quickly and just check for warm downs. Yeah, warm up downloads. Let me see here. Let me just see if there's warm ups. Let me see if I've got some there. I think I've got one that says something like exercises for when you're sick. Let me see. Exercises for singing when you're sick. Okay, let me see if I can find something there. My search bar is not searching right now. Let me see. Okay, nothing. I know it's in there somewhere. I just can't tell you where right now at the moment. Let me try something else. Sorry, you guys, I'm going to take care of this really fast. I'm just going to type in the word downloads. DOWNLOADS. And let's see what I get to come up here. Okay. Yes, I do believe in cool downs. Especially, I did them when I play. I do them when I play certain roles on stage where my character kind of hurts my voice. So, for example, I played Captain Hook. I think I have a picture of me on the wall there with Captain Hook in my Captain Hook costume. But it was and all these different things that put stress on your voice. And this is early on especially. I played him twice. Second time wasn't so bad. The first time I wasn't as smart and wasn't as knowledgeable with the technique. And by the end of the night, I could feel my voice wearing out. Yeah. I know there's some here. I think I would probably do a search on my website for a video about singing sick. And there's some exercises there that would be very helpful for a warm down or a cool down. I used those to get the larynx back down because my larynx was up, and it really helped. I did them after every performance, and they weren't long, maybe 15 minutes, and got everything kind of back to where it should be. My voice was much more relaxed, the tension was gone, and it was like a vocal massage. And that's why also the exercises for singing when you're for your voice when you're sick would be very helpful. Also, do the same thing. Give you a vocal massage. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I've got to end in about 2 minutes. So I have a student coming. Otherwise, I try and find the link for you. Go and search. I did a video on singing when you're sick, and I think I included some exercises to download. Okay, so Anna says Australia has high humidity up to about 90%. Wow, I didn't realize that, Anna. Is that even true, like on the Gold Coast as well? It's almost 9 in the morning here, Wednesday morning. What time is it? So here it's almost 3 p.m. on Tuesday. So we're a day behind you, and we're on the other end of our day. So it's 3 p.m. Tuesday afternoon here. Okay, you guys, it's been so great talking with you today. So many great comments. Apologize about the stream that froze up a little bit. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for your input. I hope this has been helpful in terms of what we can do to help ourselves not be pitchy or help ourselves be on pitch. And it includes things like take care of your voice. Don't sing when you're sick. Learn how to bridge to be able to get through those areas of your voice that transition from chest to your middle to your head voice. And if we can do those things and our breathing, get the breathing right, then we're going to be in so much better condition. So, I've got a whole, let me see here. Gosh, yeah, okay. So that was so useful. Listen Deeply says, so grateful, just doing one of your courses about bridging, and wow. Okay, thank you. All right, thanks everybody. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video, I think. See if I can turn this off. Thank you. See you next